Hi, it's Lisa, and today we're going to talk about townhomes. Have you ever thought about maybe purchasing a townhome? Maybe it's time that you are thinking about downsizing, moving closer to the grandkids maybe, or it's just something you've always thought about doing. You'd like maybe a more urban lifestyle, townhome, or maybe a condominium. Today, that's our topic, so stay tuned. We're going to talk all about townhomes. Okay, so let's get started talking about townhomes. First, I want to talk just a little bit about why you might be in the market for a townhome. I know that a lot of people, a lot of boomers who are downsizing, moving closer to where their grandkids live. This is becoming a more and more popular request here in our market. And even people moving across the country from different parts of our country that want to be closer to their grandkids. And so we're seeing a lot of folks who also would like the benefit of a townhome or even a condominium. And we're going to talk about the difference in those in just a minute. But one of those benefits that I see as a kind of a surge, a small little surge in our market, is because they want the ability to not only downsize, but to be able to what I call lock up and leave, right? So they have a lot of the low maintenance benefit also, and they can just simply lock it up and leave it, go travel if they want to, go do whatever they would like to do, maybe even go visit grandkids and then come back, which may be the ultimate, right? And so that's kind of why this is kind of cropping up right now, and why I decided I wanted to do a blog and a video on this topic, because I think the other thing I've seen in our market here in Northeast Tarrant County is I've seen a lot of newer, we're seeing a lot of apartments come up. We're also seeing townhomes and kind of an insurgence. And then, the condo market, like in downtown Fort Worth, to me, the condo market it can fluctuate a little bit more than townhomes. The condo market seems to me like the condos like downtown Fort Worth or in the cultural district, they kind of circle around those places in town, and where there is an already urban vibe, a walk to work kind of a situation already. We have an amazing, if I don't say so myself, we have an amazing condo and downtown Fort Worth community. And my broker, Tim Young, and his wife, Donna, are the king and queen of condo living, and they make all things look so easy. They walk to work, and they just live, eat, and breathe the whole condo urban style lifestyle. And I think it's really great. I know for me, I still want a yard. There's still pieces of the suburban life that are still really appeals to me. And that time of year in the springtime where I need to get my hands in the dirt, sometimes that just is what I am. So a townhome sometimes gives you that ability to still kind of have maybe what we call a postage stamp size yard. You may have just a little garden area behind, or a patio, even just a patio with a few places for pots and cute lights. You can make it your own. But there is some great things happening. I see a kind of a little surge going on now with some townhomes. So let's get into some of those things. So let me first tell you the difference between a townhouse and a condominium. It can be a little confusing. I'm not going to go super deep. I'm going to give you kind of the quick Reader's Digest version of the differences. Okay, so a townhouse shares a wall, of course, and but they don't have anyone above them or below them, and you own the land and the building that you're living in. So that's what a townhome looks like, right? You'll have your own separate entrance. You'll have maybe even a garage of your own, all of those things, but you just share a wall. But everything else is separate. And the main difference there to me is that you do own the house and the land that it's sitting on, okay? Whereas in a condo, that is not true. You will have someone above you and below you, or one of the two, and but you don't own the building, right? You might have other entrances on your floor, kind of like a hotel. You may have that common area is going to be including it's going to also include that hall space, your entrance downstairs. You may have a concierge, you may have a doorman, you may have those common areas where people gather and whatnot, which you won't have in a townhouse, most townhouse communities. So that's kind of the difference. And again, in a condo, you don't own the building, you own your unit. And then you may have, some collective things that are a part of that. You may have a parking space or a storage space with a condo, but you don't own the building or the land, of course. So anyway, those are the differences between a condo and a townhome. I think that's an important way to start this. So let's talk about some of the benefits that I want to share. I have about 4 of them that I want to share with you. Number 1, the lawnmower is not required. So that is a big benefit to a lot of people that are looking at townhomes. There's, you can save money that way. Of course, you won't have, it's very low maintenance, and not just the lawn. Most of the time in a townhome community, the exterior is also maintained by your homeowner association. And of course, the homeowner association dues in both a condo and a townhome situation are going to be something you need to plan on and think about, because those obviously, the more amenities you have, the more the HOA, the homeowner association, the condo association is going to cost you. So with more comes more cost, a little bit more cost. So think about that. But back to low maintenance, this really speaks very good to that lock and leave thing I was talking about earlier. The fact that you won't have to worry about what's going on. You won't have to worry about having your yard maintained. Everything will be maintained. The only thing you might have to maintain, or if you plant something in the little back patio area, or you have pots or whatever, those are the things that you would be responsible for. Anything that would happen, hail to the roof, anything like that, any problem with the siding, all of your exterior stuff is usually covered by that townhome homeowner association. And of course, any large things that are in the area also, like say for instance, if you lived on a canal or on the river, or on a water source somewhere, a pond, and there was a problem, every now and then those things need to be cleaned out and taken care of and updated or maintained, whatever. That cost, then every now and then you don't have to absorb the whole thing. You're going to pay your pro rata share. It is just get divided out. And sometimes that is already taken into consideration in part of your dues, sometimes them so. But again, the whole cost of something like that is not on you. So number 1, low maintenance. That is probably one of the number 1 reasons why people choose to live and look for a home in a townhome. Number 2 is because there's less square foot. Obviously, you will have less money to pay in utility. Your heat, it's not going to cost you as much because it's less square footage in heating and air conditioning that space. Also, just because most of the time a townhome might be a little less than a single family home, your payment is going to be a little lower. And right now, if you are very careful and are on a great budget, you can get a nice townhome depending on the area for 150,000 under $200,000, where you might spend more than that on an average house. So you're going to save money because then your payment will be, of course, lower. So your average price right now, let me just pause and say your average price on townhomes, I did a little research today. So as of today, which is May 27th, I think, 2020, the average townhouse price in all of Tarrant County was about $275. But I'm telling you that there were plenty, and they are probably not the newer units, newer townhomes, but there were plenty who were between $150 and $200,000 for a nice 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom townhouse. And of course, it just depends on the area. If you want to be near TCU, there are some very nice newer condos, and there are some older condos. You can be in that area for $150,000. It might not be a brand new one. You could go in and drop still even $25,000 in and remodel it, make it beautiful inside, and still have a great asset that is earning you equity. It's an investment rather than putting $2,000 a month towards rent somewhere. So it makes a lot of sense in a lot of places. So of course, then on the other end, I'm seeing a lot of new townhomes that are being built right now. For instance, in Southlake area, there's the new Parkview area. Those townhomes are starting, I think they start at like 600,000 and they go all the way beyond $1 million. So there are these gorgeous, everything you could ever want right there in Southlake Town Square area. And even Grapevine has some great things, but they're going to be in the upper threes, and then of course downtown Fort Worth on the 7th Street kind of cultural district, there in Montgomery Plaza, you're looking at 300 and up for any kind of a condo there. And so on the prices, of course, are various depending on what you're looking for. But if you can live in a modest neighborhood, here even in Arlington, Euless, Bedford, Hurst, all those little areas here in the mid-cities, northern Tarrant County area, you can get in for between $200 and $250 easy for a very nice townhome. So that's kind of what the average price is. I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. So let's go back to the benefits. Number 3 on the benefits are, of course, the amenities. People love the amenities. They don't always love the HOA fees, but that is something that is very popular and one of the bigger benefits of owning your townhome is the amenities that come with it. You have a pool. You usually have a gym. For sure, you have some outdoor cooking areas, even an outdoor kitchen in some of the nicer ones. You have a private garage. You'll have security. You may have a gated area, and even a concierge in some buildings. Of course, walking trails, tennis, volleyball, the list goes on, right? So the amenities are always an important part for you to look at. If it's important to have an indoor pool, you may need to look more in towards the condominium area. There are a few that have indoor pool, but all of them have outdoor pools. And of course, depending on where your unit is inside the complex will also determine price. Anything with a pool view is going to be a little bit more than the others. And so just keep that in mind. So number 4, my final benefit that I want to share with you is just the fact in a condominium or in a townhome community, you are in a little closer proximity to one another, which is a benefit. I know some people will think that's not really a benefit, but let me explain. Socially connected for a lot of people is just like in an urban area for condos, the walkability, the social ability of being in contact and connecting with new people, meeting new people, being in the mix and in the fun and in the whatever. That is a big draw for some folks, and especially if you're moving here from across the country or from somewhere you're not as familiar with people, or maybe you're single, you're starting over, whatever your situation is. Sometimes that social connection, I think that's an important part of why people choose. They get to share that pool area, have conversation, there's outings, there's, social outings that kind of go along with all of that, and you're just connected, and that's an important part to also consider if you are thinking about a townhouse. So I hope that this information is helpful to you. I've also, down at the bottom of my blog, I have included a search for you to look at townhomes and condominiums, or you can create your own search. At the very bottom of the page, I've created a place for you to just create and look at your own, make your search, use your own search criteria. So I hope this is helpful to you. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I plan to share every week a new video and help my buyers and sellers, my past and previous and my future clients, love where they live. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.